Welcome to the Misha Wilson Show, where we show you how to create massive success online so you can enjoy the lifestyle of your wildest dreams. Hey, if you want to discover the single key to being able to avoid burnout in your personal entrepreneurial journey so that you can consistently work towards your goals, take the action steps that you need to take, and ultimately long-term grow a profitable business, stick around and watch today's video through until the very end, as I'm about to share with you the actual root cause of burnout and how you can address that root cause so that you can once again avoid burnout, take consistent action, and get the result that you're after in life. As always, if this is your first video, my name is Misha Wilson. Over the course of the last few years, I've now done many millions of dollars in sales online. I've helped many people get their online business off the ground for the first time. And in today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you everything based on actual applied experience and not just theoretical knowledge. All right, as always, if you get value, please let me know in the comment section below what your biggest takeaway was. And don't forget to hit that thumbs up button and that subscribe button below this video. With that said, let's go ahead and dive right in. All right, so what I want to talk about here today, again, is the topic of burnout and avoiding burnout by addressing the root cause so that you can consistently execute, consistently show up, consistently, focus on the inputs in your business to ultimately get the outputs that you're looking for. So firstly, before I talk about the root cause, I want to talk about a common misconception that a lot of people have when it comes to burnout, and something that isn't really related or correlated to burnout whatsoever. And that is that working too much causes burnout. All right, so I hear it from a lot of students, I hear it from a lot of people in the industry, I hear it from a lot of people outside the industry. And it's a consistent complaint of, God, I've just been working so much, I'm so burned out, I need a break from work, right? And I'm sure you've heard it, you might have said it. I said it before I understood what I'm going to kind of break down today's video. And I completely and totally relate to it because, again, work can sometimes be the thing that causes the actual root cause of burnout. But what you have to understand is that work itself does not burn you out, right? So look at something outside of the scope of work. Look at something you completely love, right? Maybe it's a sport. Maybe it's hanging out with your family. Maybe it's just going to the beach and hanging out, right? Whatever it might be, whatever that hobby is that you completely love, if you do it and you do it over and over and over again, if you do it all the time, if you do it 8 hours a day, 7 days a week, I would be willing to bet that you're not going to get to a point where you're just like, holy crap, I'm so damn burned out chilling at the beach right now, right? Or holy crap, I'm so damn burned out hanging out with family, right? Now look, if your family is a certain type of family, maybe. But if that's your thing, if you love family time, again, you're not going to get to that point of burnout through doing the thing that brings you relaxation and brings you to a place of being centered, peaceful, and ultimately, in a good centered place. And so understand that it's not too much of one thing that creates burnout. The core thing that actually creates burnout is too much stress. All right, too much anxiety that can sometimes be produced from work, too much, worrying about the future that may or may not happen, too much projecting what's going to happen in the future from past experiences when you are trying to work. So what I see a lot with people in my, industry, people that are just getting started, they might get started with a program. The program has a year-long mentorship program attached, right? And it almost seems like from day number one, they're so stressed out about making enough progress within that year that stress just builds up to a point where ultimately it leads them to feeling burned out. So every single time they sit behind their computer, all right, I got 11 months left in this program, I gotta make something happen. I got 10 months left in this program, I gotta make something happen. Right? Other people will, raise money, raise capital to go ahead and start an online business. They'll get a loan to start a business. And then from there's obvious payments that have to be made on the loan. And before they ever even get to a point where they're close to not being able to pay the loan, which does happen every now and then, but again, before they get there, they'll be thinking about it in the back of their head nonstop all the time. And it'll be bringing up stress over and over and over again that gets them to a point where they're so stressed out all the time that it naturally leads to burnout. Now, usually the time that they are most stressed is when they're working, right? So let's say for the first example, if they're thinking about a year-long coaching program and it's got every time they sit down in front of the computer, I got to make something happen with this online business in the next year or else I'm screwed. I got to make something happen in the next 6 months if they're 6 months into it or else I'm screwed, right? That feeling of stress is triggered by the work that you're doing. And so you naturally correlate the burnout with the actual work that you're doing. But the work that you're doing is not the thing that is burning you out. The stress, the mental state of being, the anxiety, the fear attached to the actual activity is the core thing that is burning you out. And so firstly, just understanding that and realizing, at least for me, helps. All right. So when I sit down at the computer, if I'm just naturally in a state of stress and I'm just kind of can't get out of it, what I'll do is I'll take a little break. I'll go outside, I'll, get some space. I'll maybe hop in the pool or I'll hop on the beach if you live close to it, or I'll hop in the ocean if you live close to a beach. That can definitely help. And then just 15, 20 minutes later, I can come back and I can be aware that I was stressed out when I was working, and I can sit down and I can consciously focus on working without being stressed, and I can avoid the pattern that leads to overall burnout. All right, so firstly, just being aware of it helps. And then secondly, what I would recommend everybody doing, and I do this myself to this day, is just get very clear on a few things that you can kind of use as stress relievers. All right, so for myself, working out is something that I do consistently, pretty much every single day to relieve stress, right? I'll run, I'll hit the weights, sometimes I'll play tennis, whatever it might be, something outdoors, something physical, something to get my, natural dopamine going will just naturally bring me to a state where I'm less stressed. And when I'm less stressed, I'm then gonna be less burned out. Meditation absolutely works, all right? I should do it more. I should do it more consistently. When I do it, it absolutely does help, but because I usually solve my stress from physical activity, working out, something physical, or yoga is huge for me, those things allow me to kind of slack on my meditation routine. Not saying that it's something that I should do, but at the same time, you got to figure out what works for you. What I've realized when it comes to executing in anything in life is nothing's going to work for everyone all the time. So you have to figure out what works for you most all of the time, because it's not going to work for you every time either. And then when you figure out what works for you most of the time, stick to that routine in your journey, because ultimately, if you can execute efficiently and effectively most of the time, all the time, you are going to beat the competition long term. So just off the top of my head, for myself, working out, yoga, like I said, meditation, not enough, but when I do it, it definitely helps. Making sure that I eat well is huge when it comes to reducing stress. Making sure that I sleep well is probably one of the biggest, because I can't do any of the other ones if I don't sleep well. If I don't sleep well, I can't work out, I can't train, I can't do yoga, I can't meditate. I'm kind of just naturally in the state where I'm very vulnerable to stress. But if I do all of those things, if I sleep well, if I, work out, if I have my routine that naturally lowers stress, then when I work, I'm in a state of not being stressed. And then when I'm working in a state of not being stressed, I can literally work, if I need to, for 7 days a week, constantly nonstop. Not that I do all the time, but I can without ever getting to a point where I'm burned out. Where if I'm stressed, if there's something externally that's stressing me out, if there's something in the personal life that might be stressing me out, whatever it might be, I find myself, I can kind of push through a few days. But after I push through a few days of constant stressed work nonstop, you very quickly get to a point of feeling burned out, feeling exhausted, feeling like you need space, and ultimately thinking that the work burned you out when the true root cause of the stress. And if you solve that root cause, you'll once again cure the burnout. With that said, I hope you got a ton of value out of today's video. If you did, please let me know in the comment section below what your biggest takeaway was. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button and that thumbs up button below this video.